good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, good afternoon. It's about a minute after 12. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Behind the Mic here in the beautiful MusicTown up on the second floor of Hockeytown in downtown Detroit. We are live in the D, so thanks for tuning in. And some of you may be watching after the fact, which is fine, but we appreciate that. What I do here is bring in local artists, mostly local artists, and feature them, talk to them, and find out what's going on in their world of music. And we do this every week, so again, thank you so much for tuning in. And a big thank you to our sponsors, Michigan State University Community School of Detroit and Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation. Without these sponsors, then this wouldn't happen at all. So thank you very much to those two sponsors. We appreciate it. And we appreciate you supporting local music and music in general. So we have another guest this week, and I want to say hello to Steve Taylor. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Pam. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Yeah.
Always nice to just get in here with someone with just them and a guitar, simple for the lunchtime, which is always
easy.
nice.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I don't mind when all the bands and everything get in here. That's fun too, but nice to have you in here.
Thank
you. Before we go further, I want to mention about your coat. I love this coat.
Oh, thank you.
We were just talking about before going live, the patches on it, and I have to make you stand up eventually.
Right.
And go ahead.
We can do it. We can see.
All right.
The back is covered.
Can you see the back? Yeah. It's got all kinds of patches.
Right.
I drank and I know things.
Yeah.
I didn't notice
it.
it. I love it.
Game of Thrones reference.
Okay. Yeah. So you collect these. This is your performance jacket, which is
Yes.
kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of nice when you have something that is always the same, even though,
Right.
the music is new or the atmosphere is new or the people are new, whatever. But there's that one thing. And I like to say it's my Pam exam, which
like
is
it.
the same, every time
Yes.
I pull out these questions. We'll get to those in a little bit. But it's kind of nice that way. Do you notice that? It's like people recognize, oh, yeah, the jacket with the
Honestly, I don't wear it when I perform that often. You
What?
know? Yeah, honestly, I think because it's got sleeves and it gets a little
Oh,
cumbersome
okay.
with the playing. But
Okay.
yeah, I definitely like it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
People are handing you patches to put on there.
It's a conversation piece because people do buy me patches and.
Did you ever have patches like, oh, I can't put this on there or something?
Well, my wife took my older son to Cedar Point this summer, and they had gotten a couple of patches from the rides that they had ridden.
Oh, right.
And I felt weird of putting on those on because I hadn't been on those roller coasters. I felt like I hadn't earned those patches.
Oh.
So I still have those.
You gotta earn it.
Yeah.
Well, and plus that's advertising for them. It's like, do I want to do this or not?
That's true.
That's
That's
true.
true.
So anyway, about the coat. Enough of that. It's more about the music and what you're here for today.
Thank you,
So,
yes.
Gosh, you've been doing this a while.
I have, yeah.
I was trying to go back through and remember. And
Well, I think we might have crossed paths first when I graduated college. I went to school out in Boston.
Yeah.
And after I graduated, I moved back to the Detroit area, and I joined a local band called Voodoo Hippies.
okay.
And that was the band I played in for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And did that. And then I played with Tim Diaz for a long time.
That's where I think I.
Yeah, that's probably where
Tim.
we know each other. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Mhm.
I know there was somewhere we crossed paths.
I know
somehow.
there is, yeah. We've both been around for such a long
I
time.
know.
that
I
it's
think
hard
about
to,
it's like, gosh, I've been doing this a long time in this area. It's like, and sometimes people think, oh, that I should remember them. I mean, it's like I've met
Everybody.
thousands of people,
Yes.
and especially listeners and everything. It's like, I'm sorry, where did we meet? Anyway, but that's cool. I knew we had crossed paths somewhere. So
Yeah.
and you mentioned just now your schooling. You went to Boston, Berkeley.
I went to
Music?
Berkeley College of Music, yeah.
That's quite an impressive school, and
Thank you.
Yeah.
I always say that I didn't have a lot of options. Like, I really wasn't good at anything else. So for me, I think I was lucky to get into music school because I don't think I would have been successful at a traditional college.
and you had no other insights of what you might do. I mean,
Not really. I mean, I only applied to Berkeley,
Okay.
and my guidance counselor in high school was not at all happy about that. He thought I should have had a backup, and he was probably right. But I had made up my mind that that's where I wanted to go.
Well,
And
that's probably helped you because you were on a straight path. You knew it's like, well, why should I have a plan B? I mean, most people should have a plan B, I would sometimes, but you knew from how early of an age did you know
I
that?
started playing music, I think, when I was about 12 was when I first started playing. And yeah, I pretty much knew that that's what I wanted to do.
Uh-huh.
And I had a good friend, and he went to school out in Colorado, and he said to me, you're so lucky because you know exactly what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no, you're so lucky because you have options.
Ah, that is
You know,
true.
it's like
That is true.
you can make decisions, and that was,
And
so
try
for
out
me-
different things,
Right,
which a
right.
lot of people, when they go to college, they really don't know what they're doing. And,
That's true.
just try different things, different classes, different social groups, whatever, and,
Yeah.
maybe figure it out that way. But,
Right.
I mean,
So-
do you ever think back, I could have done something else or could have done this?
That's a good question. I haven't really, no, I never really thought about that. I never fell back on anything because,
Okay.
but I do teach as well. I've always taught, I've always taught lessons and I've done classroom.
There's your
and
plan B.
That's my plan B. Yeah. Or right along, plan A.
Yeah, and I read somewhere you had like 75 students a week.
I did. There was a point in my life I did.
That's
when,
crazy.
When I was younger, before I had kids, and I could, teach 6 or 7 days a week. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you didn't just teach guitar. What else did you teach?
I've always taught mainly guitar and piano.
Okay.
Those have been the two main things.
Yeah.
But now, I've got a couple saxophone students. I have a few cello students. I have a few ukulele students.
Wow.
So yeah, and it's fun for me because it's then you're not doing the same thing all the time. It gives me
Yeah.
a chance to get time on those instruments as well that I might not normally get performing.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a lot of students.
That is,
A
I
lot.
don't have 75 anymore,
Oh,
and I had to cut back a little bit.
Yeah, once you get, with the kids, go your own kids.
Yes.
Come in. So, do you teach your kids music? at
Well,
this-
it's funny. I've learned as a parent you can't really teach your own kids anything. My younger son, we've had him in piano lessons for 2 years.
How old is he?
He's about to turn 9.
Okay.
And in fact, they're both home watching right now because they had another snow day today.
Oh, wow.
Because we live up in Lake Orion where there's a lot of dirt roads.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
So Jonah and Griffin, give them a shout out because they're home.
Okay.
But we had Griffin in piano lessons, and at first I tried to teach him, and that did not go well. That did not go well at all.
Not with the
So
parent, yeah.
Yeah, because I still sit down and we'll practice every day together, but he'll argue with me quite a bit.
About that age, yeah.
Yes. And my older son, I did teach how to play saxophone this past summer because he just started 6th grade, and now he's playing in a 6th grade
Oh,
band.
okay,
He's doing
yeah.
really well.
Okay. Well, it's always good to know, in their mind that if I have a question, I know I can ask Dad, and
That's
he can
true.
help me out,
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But as a full-fledged parent and teacher, sometimes, a little
They tend to they'll
clashing.
listen to anybody else except for you.
Yeah. Well, down the line when they get older, they'll appreciate it and realize what you were
think they will.
doing.
I hope so.
Well, good
I
for
hope
them.
so. Yeah.
And they haven't chose their path. They're at that at that age where you did, but
That's true, yeah.
let them
But again,
experiment.
I think, kind of like you said with college, the idea is to expose them to as many things as you can
Yes.
and let them figure out what's going to
absolutely.
work for them,
Yeah.
what's going to be right for them.
all right. So
Yeah.
if they follow in Dad's footsteps, maybe
Yeah, maybe
Maybe
not.
not. Maybe.
Yeah. Either way, I'll be fine with it.
go
you
with the
know?
flow. Let's see
Yeah,
what happens. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
Well, tell you what. Why don't we jump into a song here?
Let's do a
A
song.
beautiful guitar.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, it's a Gibson.
It's a
okay.
Gibson. Yeah, it's an SJ 200. And had this for a while. And I'm going to do a song.
Ooh, yes.
I'm going to play harmonica, too.
He's got We were talking about off air. He's got this little bag of all his harmonicas there, marked which key.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't play harmonica. It'd be kind of cool to learn it, but I didn't realize there was each harmonica is its own key.
Yeah, I do a lot of in addition to playing with my band, the Steve Taylor 3, I do a lot of solo acoustic shows. So I end up, grabbing as many things that I can do to make as much noise as I can. And
The one-man band.
a one-man band, exactly. Sometimes
You don't have the cymbals between your knees.
I don't, but now I do have things that I wear on my feet. I have
Oh, really?
a foot tambourine that I wear on my
Okay.
foot, and it's and any percussion I can get out of my feet is great.
Makes it sound better.
But people are always impressed when I play harmonica at the same time, and I always tell them not to be impressed because they're all tuned to one key, so you can't really hit a wrong note if you wanted to.
Good to know.
Yeah. So
If,
don't
if
be
I
too
ever
impressed.
decide to learn harmonica. Okay.
Well, I'll do a song. This is from our new album. Our new album's called The Tennessee Sessions, and it comes out March 3rd. And we got a big CD release party planned for Fifth Avenue in Royal Oak on that night.
Okay.
But this is a song that we recorded. The album's called The Tennessee Sessions because we recorded half the record in Nashville and half the record in Memphis.
Okay.
So this is one of the songs that we recorded in Memphis, and we recorded at Sun Studios,
Oh.
where Elvis recorded and Johnny
Yeah.
Cash and U2 did parts of.
Did you
Around Home.
find the there was an ambiance because those major
Absolutely.
artists were in there and
Absolutely.
performing and
Yeah.
creating.
And it's a museum now, and you can still take a tour, but at night, you can still book a full
Oh, really?
recording session. Oh yeah.
Okay.
So we actually took the last tour of the day,
Uh-huh.
and as soon as the tour was over, we just started loading our gear in and got ready for our recording
Nice.
session.
Oh, I didn't realize you could do that. So,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool.
You can now. I think it was not operational for a number of years.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
When U2 went and recorded there, they didn't bring a drum set with them, so they dispatched somebody to go buy a drum set and bring it to Sun Studios.
Oh, you too. Oh, go buy a drum
Yeah,
set.
go
Yeah.
just a drum set.
Here's a few thousand. Go get it.
But my drummer Kerry Weaver, he's a huge U2 fan, and U2 had left that drum kit at Sun Studios, and it's still there.
Oh.
So he got to play on the same drum set as U2, which was a thrill for
More
him.
creative and inspiration.
Yeah,
Wow.
But they have all
U2.
these pictures on the wall in the studio, and you can see exactly where in the room that you're standing, where all these people were standing.
Ooh.
So it's pretty incredible. But we hooked up with a horn section. We hooked up with a 4-piece horn section in Memphis, and they came into the studio, and we recorded live with a 4-piece horn section. So
Okay.
this is one from the record. I'm going to attempt to recreate the entire 4-piece horn section using only this harmonica.
Okay.
But this is a song I made up about my wife and how cool she is. It's called Shape of the Moon. She's busy like a car wash on a sunny day. She makes me dizzy like spinning around in the same place. She's crazy like an X Games rider on a mountain bike. She's the only one who keeps me warm at night. She's pretty like a field of flowers under a sky of blue. She's witty, she can take a joke and then she'll give it back to you. She's lazy like an out-of-work actor on a holiday. She's the only one that makes me feel this way. Sometimes I run out of similes to explain the way I feel about her. I still get nervous when she walks in a room. She go outside with no shoes on in the middle of the night, just to describe for you the shape of the moon. She's tricky, like trying to get a sticker off a vegetable. She's picky, she likes to drink soda, but only if it's Diet Coke. She's honest, she'll always tell you exactly what's been on her mind. I try to keep up with her, but I'm always a step behind. Whether it's full or just a crescent, she's like a Christmas present that you open one day too soon. If it's new or just a half, she will make you laugh when she describes for you the shape of the moon. Well, sometimes I run out of similes to explain the way I feel about her. I still get nervous when she walks in a room. She go outside with no shoes on in the middle of the night, just to describe for you the shape of the moon. She will describe for you the shape of the moon. She's busy. The shape of the moon, she's busy. The shape of the moon, she's busy. Yeah, the shape of the moon. She's busy like a Costco on a Saturday. She's the only one who could make me stay.
Great love song.
Thank you. Thank
How
you.
long you been married now?
Almost 16 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very good. Is
When
she
we started dating, I mean, I was 23 and she was 22 at the time that we started dating. So we've been together even longer than that.
okay?
Yeah.
Is she into music as well? Playing?
She is, yeah. She's a dancer. She taught dance and performed for a lot of years, you know. She still works at a dance studio,
Okay.
as a matter of fact.
Oh,
So
cool.
she understands
Got
performing.
that creative.
She's got that creative thing
gene,
going
yeah,
on. Yeah,
yeah.
she gets it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, good. A great song.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
And
very
that is
much.
on this new album, the Steve Taylor 3, and it's called the Tennessee Sessions.
Yes, it is.
So, did you actually move to Nashville for a while? Or?
I did not know. We didn't
Okay.
live there, no.
Okay.
But we've taken a couple trips there.
Okay.
We got a good friend. His name is J.T. Harding. He's a songwriter. He's from Detroit. He now lives in Nashville. And he's written like 6 #1 country songs. He
Okay.
wrote Smile with Uncle Kracker, and he wrote Somewhere in My Car with Keith Urban, and he wrote Sangria for Blake Shelton. So he's got a lot of big hits.
Yeah.
And a couple years ago, he invited me to come to the Bluebird Cafe and play with him there. And the band came, and we all kind of played, and that's when we did our first session in Nashville.
Okay.
So
Is that like a big place for musicians?
Well, it's a big place for songwriters. Ironically, it's a very, very tiny place. It's
Okay.
a really small. It's not even sort of in downtown. It's kind of off the beaten path.
Okay.
But it's
Sometimes
sort of,
those are the best places.
those are, and I think that's why it became so famous for
Yeah.
songwriters, where
Okay.
they kind of invented the sort of songwriters in the round thing. It's a very, very small room, and basically they have 4 songwriters that sit in chairs, facing each other on the floor,
Uh-huh.
and everyone just sort of sits around them.
and you
know,
perform with
and performs. And everyone
okay.
plays their original songs, and it's a lot of people that have written, big hits for people, and you get to hear the actual songwriters perform their songs that they wrote.
Do you ever just sit there and then just like throw out a thought and then you actually compose a song right then and there?
That's a good question. I've never seen that happen. Usually people
That would be cool.
That would be cool. Yeah, live songwriting. That would
Yeah.
be something. Definitely with this group that plays there.
I mean, you've written so many songs, and that's your niche. You know your niche.
Right.
Niche.
Yeah, I think that's
That
it.
songwriting. It's like that would be really inspirational. I think, and
Right.
just feed off each other, and
Yeah.
like just throw out 2 or 3 lines, and then the next, kind of go on and on.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
it's a really cool place, and I
Yeah.
think part of the reason why it's as legendary it is that's where Garth Brooks sort of played and got his first record deal.
Okay.
And Taylor Swift also got her record deal after playing at the Bluebird Cafe.
Oh, so you never know who's in the audience.
That's
in other
right,
words.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting in the sense that you could hear a pin drop in that place. They
Oh.
absolutely do not tolerate people talking
Thank
at all.
you. I love that. I love
They
that.
actually have T-shirts that say the Bluebird Cafe, and on the back it says "Shh." So
Well,
after that trip to Nashville, I came back and I started a songwriter night at a place up in Birmingham that's now called Vinoteca, and we do
Okay.
it once a month on a Thursday,
Uh-huh.
and we get 5 local songwriters together, and everybody gets up and plays 4 of their original songs, and it's been a great thing.
That's another good way. If someone knows you, but they don't know these other artists, another way to expose these artists to new
Yeah.
listeners as well.
And it's
So,
great. It's great because obviously, in the Detroit music community, we all know each other.
Yeah.
But the way things work now, there aren't so many multiple band shows anymore. Now it's like one bar, one band, where it used to be, we would play, bars would have all original music and they'd have 4 bands playing. So you never really get to see your friends play because everybody's always working.
Right. That's why a lot of times people like the events like a Detroit Music Award event or something because they know they're not working that night, but they're able to meet and see all their friends and
Right.
hang together. It's always fun. I've been emceeing that for many years now, the pre-shows, and
Right.
it's fun to see everybody because like, oh, hey, just like connecting again.
Right.
And yeah, it's hard when you're supposed to be out playing and you don't get to see other people in the
Right.
in your genre. So that's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
Songwriting obviously is your main thing. And actually, when you went to Berkeley, was songwriting your major?
I was a songwriting
Okay.
major, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that actually was my major, yeah.
That's cool that they actually have one specific major of songwriting. I mean,
Right.
because that's huge.
Yes.
If you don't know how to write the song, then what the heck?
Yeah.
You
And
know?
at the time that I was there, it was more geared towards writing for other people. It really wasn't geared towards singer-songwriters at the time.
Okay.
It's changing now. I think the program has changed quite a bit,
Yeah.
as things have evolved,
Well, they still have the major that's
They do,
songwriting,
yeah.
but, okay, it's
Yep.
just but-
Mhm.
well, you have to keep up with the times and what people
Yeah.
want now.
Right.
Unless you do the big arenas, a lot
Yeah.
of it is the coffee shops and the singer-songwriter type
Yes.
things. At least that's what I see a lot of.
That's
and,
true. Yeah.
Especially those places don't want, a full-fledged band banging out when people are having something to eat or,
That's true.
chatting. So
Right. But it's funny,
that's right.
you say that because doing this songwriter night up in Birmingham, like when I first started it, and we do it in a separate room in the back that's
Okay.
got no video games and no TV sets, and it's got its own bar and its own set of bathrooms.
Okay.
So it's actually a completely separate space, and it's perfect to do a listening room type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But people are so unaccustomed to that that people didn't really know how to behave. And I had to, at the beginning of every show, I had to explain to them, look, this is a listening room, and let's be respectful, and let's not talk, and
Yeah.
and it's evolved, and now we're starting to draw a good crowd every month for these songwriter
Oh,
nights.
how long you been doing that now?
Just over 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
believe me, for the first 3 or 4 months we did it. It took a while to build an audience because there was nobody there.
Yeah.
It was time to start the show at 7:00, and there wasn't anybody in the audience that wasn't performing.
That has happened. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I'm very happy now that we've had enough people come through, and the word has spread enough that we're starting to draw good
And people
numbers.
probably, at least I know myself, appreciate you're there. You can to listen and to find new music, and and appreciate
Yeah.
the songwriting. So
Yeah.
a lot of people, once the word got out about how that is run, I'm
Right.
sure that that's why it kind of spread, and people were passing the word along about
Yeah.
what you do there. So that's cool.
And people really listen to the songs more, and they listen to the lyrics more, and they listen to the stories, because people will tell stories before their songs.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I think it adds to the appreciation of the craft of songwriting, and helps people get deeper into the music when they can actually hear people's lyrics.
Yeah, yeah.
And even the people that have come through are a little bit thrown off by the fact that people are paying such close attention, because we're all used to playing in crowded bars that
Yeah.
are noisy. You can get away with a lot more, and this is like
Oh,
dead
be-
silent, and everyone's paying
Better
attention.
be on your game, and
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find you do the lyrics when you're songwriting before the music, or?
That's a good question. It's almost never the same twice. It really, like, if there was a formula to do it, then we all just follow that formula. But little pieces of melody will come, and
Okay.
and then maybe the music will come, and it never seems to work the same way. I mean, two of the biggest, I think, things that have helped out in the recent years with songwriting is the iPhone having a voice memo function, right? And,
Yes.
and just having the Notes app. So, I mean, I've written more just, I get an idea and I'm driving and I just sing it into the voice memo,
Yeah.
And that's basically how I write songs these days, because when you're pressed for time, you don't have a lot of time to sit down and work things out. So you got to take things.
I think a lot of people probably use that. And you think about before we had this technology, how many good songs were just lost?
Yeah.
Before, by the time they got to their destination and found a piece of paper and pencil, it was gone,
That's right.
It's like, just think,
I remember when I was at Berkeley, we had a songwriting. We would have occasionally when people would come through town, famous writers, they would get them to come by the school and
Oh,
come
nice.
give a talk to the songwriters. I remember Richard Marx happened to be in town when I was at school, and they brought him in for a songwriter workshop, and he was talking about the exact same thing. And he would get an idea, and he'd be out to dinner, and he would get on the payphone and call his answering machine at home.
Whatever
and
works.
if someone walked by, he'd pretend like he was on hold, and he would pretend like he was humming along to the on hold music, when really he was singing a melody he just thought of into his own answering machine.
Interesting.
So that's a sort of low-tech workaround.
Whatever works, you've got this great song, and you're thinking, this is good. I can't lose it.
Right,
Whatever
yeah.
you got to do. I'm surprised you didn't just write stuff on napkins, of course.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. How about we go to another song,
Let's
if you
do
don't
another
mind?
song. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do a little retuning
Is
here.
this also on this new CD?
This is, yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of songwriting and having ideas for songs, this is one I really just had the idea for, which is the idea that a man who wakes up one morning and looks over to his side and realizes his wife is not sleeping beside him.
Uh-oh.
And then he looks on the end table and he sees her wedding ring sitting there, and he knows sort of in that
Sounds
moment.
like a sad song.
Yes, well, that was the kickoff. That was the idea, because he realizes right then that his wife has left him, and so I always thought that would be a cool, idea for a song, kind of like the cool opening of a movie, like the first scene.
Yeah. Okay.
Just one you'd want to watch, not one you'd actually want to be in.
Exactly.
But, so this is another one that we recorded in Memphis, and this is called Wedding Ring. Wedding ring's been sitting on the table since the day you walked out on me, and it's been gathering dust since the day I lost your trust. Ever after, not so happily. And even though we've had our disagreements, I could always make you laugh at the end of the day. And when you became my bride. Thought I would keep you by my side. Well, I was wrong in oh so many ways. You didn't tell me you were leaving. I just walked to find you gone. But you left behind two little things: my heart and your wedding ring. Now wherever you are, I hope you're happy. And whoever you're with treats you better than me. 'Cause none of the bottles that I drink or the sad songs I sing will bring you back to what is left of me. You didn't tell me you were leaving. I just walked to find you gone. Now the bed is cold where you used to lay. It's getting hard to keep on breathing. Took your clothes and picture frames, but you left behind two important things: my heart and your wedding ring. Now I'm searching every day just to find you, and I hope that I find something left of us. I didn't mean to make you go, and I just want you to know that from now on you will always be enough. You didn't tell me you were leaving. I just walked to find you gone. Now I dream of you each time I close my eyes. I wanna tell you that I love you. I wanna tell you I was wrong. But I hope you let me say one little thing: take back my heart and your wedding ring. Take back my heart and your wedding ring. The wedding ring's been sitting on the table since the day you walked out on me.
Nice. I was, as you were playing that, I'm thinking, this is a good song for a movie. I mean, so many movies are about love and breakup, and that kind of stuff.
Right.
This would be perfect for a movie. But the question is, how do you get this to people that would make those decisions?
Good question. Yeah.
I mean, you've done stuff. Your songs, was it Dawson's Creek?
Oh yeah,
one of your songs.
Yeah, back in my days playing with the Voodoo Hippies, which is the band that I was in after I was in college. I moved back to Michigan and joined that band, and we had a song that I had written called "Without" that we had recorded and ended up on the Dawson's Creek soundtrack.
So how does that happen?
That's a good question.
You don't know?
I'm not really sure. I think somebody knew somebody that was doing the music, supervising for the show, and when it came time to release it on DVD, that's when it got on there. And I just remember that I've never seen Dawson's Creek.
I mean, neither. There was more of a teen.
Yeah, I think I was a little too old for that
Katie
show.
Holmes was on?
That's right, she was on it.
Okay.
And as much as I'd like to hear my song on the show, I didn't want to have to watch 8 seasons of Dawson's Creek to find it. But they wrote us a nice check, and we got to finish our record as a result.
Hey, but it would be nice to know how you go ahead and do that. I mean, again, like that song you just played, it'd be perfect for, a made-for-TV movie of sorts or something, and I think that would just be a good song. So it's like, how do you figure out who to send this to,
That's
or
a good
what do
question.
you do?
Well, if anyone's watching who's a music supervisor, get in touch with us. We'll send it to you.
Okay. Yeah, and that could take a lot of, you've got to research who to send it to, and you got to get past the gatekeepers to, to send it to. But that, I don't know, it might be worth it. But
Yes.
just my thought when you were playing that. That's what came to mind.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, it was a good song. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And that's on this CD.
That is on the CD as well. The Tennessee Sessions.
Now it's the Steve Taylor 3.
Yes.
Who are the other two?
I'm glad you asked. Well, I mentioned before my drummer's name is Kerry Weaver, and great drummer. And then Brian Frink is my bass player
Okay.
and producer, engineer.
Okay.
He produced the record. And both guys that I've known for a long, long time. In fact, after the Voodoo Hippies broke up, I started just doing solo acoustic shows for a long time. And then Brian and Carrie just said one night, they're like, we're gonna show up and we're gonna play with you. And I was like, yeah. But then I was playing at a bar, and they literally showed up, and I was in the middle of a set, and they set up behind me while I was playing.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, just set up bass and drums, and then and when they set up, we just started playing. And the band was together for 2 years before we rehearsed. We'd play shows, and
Wow.
we'd do a lot of 3-4 set shows, and just kind of wing it, you know.
Is that hard to do when you don't rehearse? But I mean, you must feed off each other and know what you're doing.
Well, I think it made us a better band. It made us communicate a lot better. You know,
Okay.
where my drummer Kerry Weaver, he's really good at picking up real subtle signals as far as this is where the song's going to stop or this is where it needs to build.
Okay.
You know, but I mean, I'm sure we had many train wrecks. You know, doing it live in front of an audience, trying
but
to rehearse stuff. For
I
the
think
first
that's cool,
time.
though. You know,
Yeah, I
just
think it informed our sound in a way too, and eventually they were the ones that said we want to start working on original music again, and we want to record an album. And
Yeah.
our first album, Check Your Baggage, which came out in 2014, that was the result of that. It was of us just starting to say, hey, let's start working on some brand new stuff. You know.
that's cool.
Yeah.
And and the drummer, it's kind of the leader. Keeps
Right.
the pace and and
Yes.
whatever. But if he can read you and what what direction you're going, that's pretty cool.
And he did something really cool, which is he built this drum kit where he took a floor tom and flipped that forward and made that his bass drum, and kind of built this sort of Franken drum kit, so we could fit into the corner of these tiny bars where I was normally just playing solo. You know, so
Yeah.
it's often I would take a cymbal in the elbow because we were packed on top of each other.
But it worked.
Yeah,
That's
so
really
we
cool.
got so Brian, and they both sing, and they're both great songwriters. We write all the songs together, and they
Okay.
all contribute their ideas, and Brian's a great songwriter, and so is Carrie. So it's great to be in a band with them.
Yeah.
And for the past year or year and a half, we've been working with a pedal steel player as well, named Larry Lebec,
Oh.
he's been with us for a while now, and he plays.
The band is growing.
The band is growing, yeah. So when we do the CD release party on March 3rd at Fifth Avenue, we're going to be really expanded because we've got the three of us, and then we've got Larry Lebec on the pedal steel, and then Gia Warner and
Gia, yeah.
Renee Paquette, who was the lead singer of Voodoo Hippies, are both going to sing backing vocals.
Okay.
And we're going to have a 4-piece horn section
Wow.
since we're doing all these songs that we did in Memphis with the
Yeah.
horns. So it's really going to be a much bigger band than we're used to playing with.
No, I can't get the album.
Yeah, exactly.
Really tight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
So fortunately, we'll have more room. for
Okay,
that.
well, good.
Yeah.
And again, you said March 5th. Or
March 3rd. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Saturday, March 3rd. Yep. And you can get tickets through Eventbrite, or you can go to our website, thestevetaylor3.com, and you can
Okay.
hit the ticket link from there.
Fifth Avenue, downtown Royal Oak.
Yeah, and we're going to have the Whiskey Charmers is a great
yeah.
duo. They're going to open up the show.
Okay.
So,
Okay, good.
yeah, it's going to be fun.
Will be.
Yeah,
All
they should
right.
all join us.
That'll be good. Yeah. And hot off the presses here.
Yes, yeah. Pam gets an
It's
advanced
still-
copy.
The cellophane is still on it. I haven't been able to open it.
Exactly,
but
it's
yeah.
brand new.
Yeah, so very cool. And interesting, there's been this big thing about CDs.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Best Buy was like they told all their people that we're not supplying these anymore. Their
Mm-hmm. Right.
suppliers.
Yep.
We won't be doing it. So what's your thought on that?
It's really interesting to see the way that the music industry has changed. And I read that same article. In fact, I remember about 5 years ago, Best Buy said to all the record companies, they said, we want to sell all the albums for $9.99 because that's what they were going for on iTunes.
Okay.
And everybody lost their minds because, in the heyday of
Yeah.
CDs, they were getting up to $14, $15,
Yes,
$17.
yes.
And they just said, and that's when Best Buy, I think, started changing their floor space. Because if you go into a Best Buy now, good luck finding the
Yes,
CDs.
yeah.
It's-
I remember
they're
that.
buried
It's like-
amongst video games and stuff.
Yes.
But I mean, it's sort of just a sign of the times that this is changing the way that people consume music. But for me, I'm old and I still buy CDs. Because even though the MP3, we got a gigantic leap forward in portability, we got a gigantic leap backward in fidelity.
Yes.
Everything
yes.
that's compressed, so it does not sound as good.
Which is why vinyl and
Yeah.
record shows are so big.
That's
Or
true.
growing, at least.
Yes.
That people want that sound. You cannot get
Yeah.
in the MP3s.
You can't. Yes, you can't
Yeah.
recreate it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we're actually doing a limited vinyl run of this album as well.
cool.
For that reason,
Okay.
for the people that are really into music, are the people that are really into vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
But I like even with my kids, like if we have a drive that's going to be longer than 20 or 30 minutes, I will bring an album and I will play it for them and I will pull the insert out and I will pass it over my shoulder to them in the back seat.
Love it.
Because I want them to have that sort of tactile experience
Yes.
of okay, looking at the pictures and reading the lyrics and having it be an experience rather than something that you do while you're doing something else.
Yes.
You know, because I'm sure that was the same for you. When I was growing up, like listening to music was its own activity.
Oh yeah, pull out the album.
Yeah.
And read the the sleeve inside. Had the
liner
pictures
notes.
and the liner notes and sometimes the lyrics and the record was cool. Just you put it on and you sit there and you read through.
I remember riding my bike to a Harmony House and buying a new record and coming home with my big headphones and putting it on the record player and reading the lyrics right along with it. And that was an activity unto itself. That was an experience.
Yeah, so many kids won't experience such a thing.
Right. And I just think the album is still a viable art form in the sense that I like when an artist puts out an album and they've got 12 songs that they've written and they've put them in this order for a reason. And, and I still like listening to an album.
Well, that's the thing. When you have a CD or an album, the order of the songs is huge.
It's important.
It's very important. Yeah,
right.
People don't realize that.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if they have specific people, especially the bigger companies, that figure out the best format. What goes before what.
Yeah, they probably do. It's probably focus grouped. Yeah.
Probably. You're probably right. But
I'm sure it's the same for you. When you hear a song out of context from the record, when that song ends, in your mind you hear the song that comes after it starting up. In the sense that, like, you have that memory of listening to the songs in an order, especially a classic album.
Yes.
So you get to the end of one song, and you're like, oh, and you're waiting for that next one to start up. Yeah. So,
isn't that crazy?
Isn't
that crazy?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Talk about crazy. It's Pam exam time.
Oh, it's time for the Pam exam. I've been looking forward to this.
I know. I get this text from him. It's like, I'm practicing for my Pam exam.
Studying.
Studying, yeah.
That's right.
You can't study for the Pam exam.
That's the whole point.
All right. You never know what I'm going to pull out of
All
here.
right.
So, what was your very first job?
Oh, my first job. Oh, that's a great question. The first thing I ever got paid to do, I think I was 14, and it was an odd job just for an older couple, just doing. But my first
like a
actual
handyman type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Handy kid.
Yeah, it was sort of like just manual labor, just move this pile of rubbish from here to here. But the first job I ever really had was bagging groceries at Great Scott. It was 15 and Telegraph.
Oh, wow.
And I bagged groceries. And when you're that age, it's hard to get a job doing anything.
Yeah.
But I bagged groceries. That was my first gig. And then when I was in high school, I worked at a movie theater. And that was a lot of fun.
Nice way to see free movies.
Yes, it was great because it was an AMC theater. So we could go to any AMC theater and see any movie.
Yeah.
So we pretty much would see every movie that came out because we could.
All right. If you were a spice, what would it be?
Oh, if I was a spice. Wow. I think it's a 4-way tie between parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme.
Simon and Garfunkel.
That's
Here
right.
we go.
I think every time I go to someone's house and they have a spice rack, I need to arrange the spices so those four are next to each other.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, just because I think it looks funny. If you know the Simon and Garfunkel song,
And he's another one of those artists that just announced farewell tour. It's like, what's going on?
And obviously Paul Simon, he's legendary. And I thought it was interesting that he announced that he was going to retire, but after this tour. So buy your tickets now. But I went to see him a couple years ago, and when I was, getting into music, one of the first things I did was raid my dad's album collection, which is what everybody does. And I took all his Simon and Garfunkel records and his Beatles and Stones, and I left the Village People right where I found it. But my dad and I would sing Simon and Garfunkel songs together.
Oh, fun.
And the last time Paul Simon came to town, he played Meadowbrook, which I thought was like someone had made a mistake and booked Paul Simon at Meadowbrook. And it was a great show. And
he puts on a good show.
Oh, and he must have had 15 people on the stage, and everybody played at least 3 instruments.
Yes.
There was a point where I was hearing this guitar solo I'm like, who was playing that guitar solo? It was the drummer. He was sitting back there with a guitar.
Really?
Yeah, and it was actually, the concert was on Father's Day, and I took my dad to see Paul Simon at Meadowbrook on Father's Day.
Nice.
So that was an amazing show.
So your dad, did your dad influence you with a lot of the music?
Yeah, he played saxophone in his high school band. He's always sang. He's got a great voice, and he still sings in church choirs. And occasionally when he comes out to see me, we'll bust out a Simon and Garfunkel song together. Yeah,
fun. Put him on one of your records one of these times.
Yeah, that's what we should do. Yeah, we should record him. Yeah,
a good father-son song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I wish I could
Oh, fill in the
Fill in the blank.
Oh, wow.
I wish I could.
Oh, wow. Sometimes for me, I wish that I could make more hours in the day. Sometimes I just feel like I can't get everything done that needs to get done in 24 hours. I think I need to find a way to extend the day. So for me, if there was one thing I could change, the ability to control time.
Well, some of us don't want it any longer.
That's right. I'm always looking to squeeze more time out of it.
Do you feel like you're always running out of time?
I'm always off in a million different records because I have 3 jobs. I teach at Sacred Heart in Bloomfield Hills. I teach band and choir to the middle school boys, and then I leave there and I go and teach private lessons, and then often I go right from private lessons to playing a gig somewhere. So it makes for a hectic day.
Yeah, you need more hours in a day.
Yes,
for sure.
I do.
Sure. Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. The biggest obstacle in the music industry today is
well, I think we just hit upon it, which is how to survive in the non-CD, non-album market. Because now that people aren't selling albums anymore, and that's such a small part of their revenue.
Yeah.
Now I think the album really is just sort of an advertisement for the concert. Really, people are just giving it away for free, hoping people will come to the concert.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good and bad in the sense that with the internet, the playing field has been leveled to the point where people can release albums on their own through iTunes or just through their own website, and we've kind of cut out the need for a record company. But it's also hard to penetrate, and to get into all the markets that they could get you into.
Wasn't it Beyonce that did that, and it's like within one day or something, she released this big album or something?
She did. She dropped her whole album with no fanfare. Didn't tell
her record label had to be going, oh my gosh,
yes.
freaking out.
And she had videos for every single song, and she dropped it all at the same time. Yeah, it's amazing.
That's gutsy.
Yeah,
that is gutsy. Yeah, give it to her that. Anyone that you would like to collaborate with, dead or alive at this point?
Oh, dead or alive.
Yeah.
Well, that makes the conversation
well,
really
because there's so many good ones that have gone, that you maybe want to be with,
That's
or
right.
try something with. So.
Well, I mean, for me, obviously, I was a huge fan of the Beatles, and grew up on their music, and I just think their contribution is so incredible.
Yeah.
I don't think young people realize that the Beatles were only a band for 9 years. And they were only recording for 8 of those 9 years.
Yes.
So in 8 years, the Beatles recorded 13 albums that changed the world. And they did it all before they were 30. They were all in their 20s when they did all of that, which is amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing. Yeah.
And I see Paul McCartney usually if I can when he comes to town.
He's another one. Puts on an amazing show when he performs.
Yeah, it still sings everything in the original key, which blows me away. Yeah.
Well, it's not like Robert Plant and Led Zeppelin that hit these major high notes, and he said he'll never do it again because he can't do that anymore.
Right.
Paul, on the other hand, maybe it's his vegan style of eating that is.
Maybe that's it. But he's still out there and putting on a show.
Yeah, he does. He does do. He does some amazing work. Yeah, he's fun. Another good one to watch.
Yes.
What I like about him, and please everyone take note. When I saw him, I was like, the one thing that stuck out was you could hear every single lyric.
Yes.
It wasn't like sometimes I wonder that these sound people are going deaf because it's like, okay, I don't want that bass overpowering everything and I can't hear the words.
Yeah.
So that was the one thing about Paul McCartney. His sound people, his lyrics,
mixed. Yeah.
And of course, he's got, billions of dollars that he can buy the top-notch equipment also that, the microphones and everything, but still, I mean, that made it a better concert because you could hear the words.
Yeah.
Of course, we knew the words from all the Beatles
Everyone
and
knows
all
them.
his stuff, but still.
But yeah, you want to hear the words and you want to hear Paul sing.
That made it a little more special. That it's like, I'm here, I can hear it,
Yeah.
I mean,
And the great thing about Paul, he's never really gone away. Like, he's always performed. There are some legendary artists that would take 10, 15 years off and not tour and not perform. Paul's always toured, always performed. So I think he's stayed on the top of his game.
I think he likes what he does, so he keeps doing it.
Clearly he doesn't need the money, so he's doing it for the love of the game.
Clearly, yeah, for sure. All right, another question here. And I don't know if you have a bucket list or not, but give me at least one thing that's on your bucket list right now.
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I mean, for us, one of the things, getting the chance to go to Nashville a few times and perform there was amazing, and doing the Bluebird Cafe was unreal, and getting to go to Sun Studios and record there was something I never thought that I would be able to do. So that was amazing, and wow, I believe it or not, I've never been to New York City.
Really?
Yeah, I went to school in Boston, and I
right around the corner.
I know, I didn't have a car. Like a lot of us, if you've ever been to Boston, Massachusetts, I mean, they have a great public transit system.
Yeah.
And, there's nowhere to park anyway. So having a car works against you more than it works
Yeah.
for you. So I never got up to New York City. So
Don't they have some kind of a train that you can hop up to the city?
not to get. I don't know if you get all the way to New York
Really?
City from
I'm
Boston.
surprised.
They have
Okay.
commuter trains and they have a subway. You know.
They
But,
didn't have Uber back then.
They did not have Uber back then, or the internet for that matter. So
Okay,
yeah.
so you need to go to New York City.
I think I need to go to New York City.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
needs to experience NYC once, at least
Okay.
once.
That's good to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been there a few times.
Yeah.
So yeah.
My wife has been there a number of times, and
What's your wife's name?
her name is Megan.
Megan. He needs to go. Plan a trip. All right. How about another song?
Let's do a song.
All right.
Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna play. This is a song. We recorded this the first time we went to Nashville, and it was the first song I think we recorded for this new record. And it's based on a quote from Hunter S. Thompson.
Who?
Hunter S. Thompson.
Do I know
You know,
this
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He wrote
You
for
threw me
Rolling
for a little
Stone
bit.
and,
Okay.
but he had this great quote where he said, you know, buy the ticket, take the ride. It's a much longer quote, but I just thought that would be a great refrain for a song. So this
Yeah.
song's called Take the Ride. A penny for your thoughts, a quarter for your tears. What have you been doing all these years? Make yourself a promise, one that you can keep, and you might find the answers that you seek. Well, go easy on yourself, and you'll be fine. It's not about the things you leave behind, because there's only so much time between when we're born and when we die. Now you bought the ticket, now take the ride. Only by giving can you truly receive. There is more to life than what you need. Sometimes the things you fear most are the things that make you grow. And this is the only life we'll know. Well, be harder on yourself, and you'll be free. Draw your own conclusions, don't take it from me, because there's only so much time between when we're born and when we die. Now you bought the ticket, now take the ride. Don't wait until the waves have reached the shore. Swim out and greet the rising tide. Now you bought the ticket, now take the ride. Take the ride, 'cause you can't move forward when you're looking back. Take the ride, 'cause sooner or later every train runs out of track. Take the ride with your family, take the ride with your friends, 'cause whatever road you travel, see it through until the end. Take the ride with your family, take the ride with your friends, 'cause whatever road you travel, see it through until the end. Take the ride, and take the ride. Won't you take the ride? there's only so much time.
Nice.
Thank you.
You said that was inspired from a quote.
Yes. Yes.
So do you find you're always, got the radar up when you hear something or you see something that could that be a song?
Absolutely. Always. Yeah. I always say, even if you don't have time to write, you have to have time to take notes like a songwriter,
Yeah.
right?
Do you have a lot of notes?
I have a lot of notes on my phone mainly,
Yeah.
that notes thing. I use that constantly for ideas and, little fragments of songs. Sometimes it's just one line.
Yeah.
And almost the whole first record I wrote just from random notes on my phone.
Yeah. They call that the gems. It's like if you write in
yes.
a journal, there's, you go back through and there's these little gems, either a line or a phrase or even just one word.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's...
In fact, the first line of that song, I had written the kind of chorus and I had an idea and I was trying to come up with something for the verses. And I went through my random notes and the first line of that song is "A penny for your thoughts, a quarter for your tears." And that's all I had. And I said, "Oh, that's a good line.
It's a start.
Yeah, it's something."
So do you find yourself going back to those notes a
Always.
lot?
Yes. In fact, I, like I said, I'll record these voice memos too, and then immediately forget them. And sometimes if I have a long drive home from a gig, I will put my earbuds in and I will kind of cycle through some of the old voice memos just to see if there's anything good there.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll find stuff like, I forgot all about that. That's
That
almost
was me?
done. That's yeah.
I said that?
Yeah. So it's an interesting way to sort of to write stuff, but
Yeah.
it does work because then you have a way of not forgetting anything.
Now, do you ever go back, when you hear something and you all of a sudden it takes you back to a moment when you said that into your phone or you wrote that down.
Right.
And all of a sudden you get those feelings again and so you're able to write.
And sometimes you're surprised, like when I I remember in that song in particular, I think I just had "You bought the ticket to take the ride," and I had sang that into my phone like years ago. Just that one line with that melody, and then oftentimes I sing it a cappella because I'm driving. I don't have a guitar in my lap. I'm driving a car,
good.
which would be very dangerous. I don't recommend that.
Thank you.
But then I'll go home and I'll put that on, try to figure out what key I was singing in, and build the song around this a cappella voice memo. And that's kind of how "Take the Ride" came about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really, officer, I was trying to write a song. Really.
That's right. I wasn't playing guitar when I was driving.
Really, it's my craft. I need to do this. Yeah. Get out of the car, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, some good stuff. Again, you've got a CD release. This
We
is your
do.
second album.
Second album, yeah.
The Steve Taylor 3.
Yes.
And it's the Tennessee sessions because
Yes.
it was Tennessee.
Because,
Duh.
half in Nashville, half in Memphis.
Oh,
right.
at least here's the
There's
three.
a nice collage there.
Probably
You see,
can't see it on the-
Brian Frink and Carrie
Yeah.
Weaver, and it's a sort of a travel log from our trips.
Fun,
Yeah.
fun. So
Yeah.
Obviously you'll have these at the
We will
the
have them for
CD
sale
release.
at March 3rd at Fifth Avenue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when people need to find you,
They can go to the SteveTaylor3.com, and that'll take you, right to the ticket page for the CD release party.
Okay.
We got tickets on sale through Eventbrite, and people can buy advance tickets. And after the album comes out, it'll be available on iTunes too, and wherever finer music is streamed.
and you'll have vinyl there.
We will have a limited edition vinyl run. Yeah. So
Limited.
if you, we're not going to have many because they're kind of expensive to produce.
Oh yeah,
but,
yeah.
yeah. If you're into vinyl, definitely
Get
come and
there if
get
you
there
want
early.
one.
Yeah,
Get there
that's right.
early. Yeah. So
Yeah.
and just when you just said that, SteveTaylor.com.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
Steve
a.
Taylor 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
added the 3.
We added the 3.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, my name is so
I was
common.
going to say that. How did that? You got lucky with that if
Yeah.
you did it. Okay.
Sometimes people have really long last names and they end up shortening it. And I have the opposite problem. I have a super
Yeah,
common
very
name.
common.
Where, everywhere I've lived, there's always like 15 Steve Taylors in the phone book at the same time.
All right.
So, yeah. So even when you try to look me up on iTunes, usually you have to search for a specific album and my name. Because if you just search for Steve Taylor, there's a lot of us out
Or
there.
Steve Taylor Detroit or Steve Taylor Michigan.
Something like that.
helps
Yeah,
too,
that. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
You have to put something a little more specific in than Steve Taylor because there's quite a few of us.
Yeah,
I should start
very
we should
common
start a
names.
club.
Start a club. How many Steve Taylors can we fit in one place?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any last words you'd like to?
No,
share
I
with
just
our
want to
listeners?
thank you for doing the show, Pam. It's been fun to just sit down and chat with you about
Yeah.
the music business, and I've watched a lot of these online, and you've had a lot of great guests. And it's a cool thing that you do for local music here in Detroit.
Yeah.
And I just would encourage everybody to tune into this show and follow everything that Pam does, and
Oh, well, thank you.
come see us on March 3rd at Fifth
Yeah.
Avenue. You know,
Should
we'd
be good.
appreciate it.
With a full band.
With the full band, yeah, we'll have the full
Three
band.
times three.
Yeah, it'll be the Steve Taylor 10 that night.
It's 10.
That's right.
Well, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So, so congratulations on your second CD out there. Even it's been a while. When did the first one
Check
come
Your
out?
Baggage came out in 2014.
14. Okay.
And this we've been kicking
Yeah.
around for a while, trying to finish some of the things off. You know. Yeah.
You just got to get it out there, and just.
I know. Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you're already thinking the songs for the next one. So
We are.
Yes,
We are.
That's pretty typical.
Yeah, my bass player and producer Brian Frankie actually has built a recording studio in his house.
Oh, nice.
So we did some additional tracking there, and
Okay.
because of that, we will definitely probably have another record out this year.
Yeah.
You know?
That helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to, worry about
Right.
studio time somewhere or whatever. but-
Exactly. Yeah.
Although we have a studio here, by the way.
Ah, yes.
I guess
Yes.
I'll plug it. MusicTown. If you're an unsigned artist, you can use our studio here as well to get something down. So
Excellent.
lots of fun things here at MusicTown. So again, thank you to our sponsors, Michigan State University Community School of Detroit, as well as Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation. Without those two, this MusicTown may not happen. So,
Right.
so thank you very much to those. And thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Pam.
It's
Thanks
been
for
a
having me.
pleasure sitting down and sounding great.
Thank you.
Some good songwriting there.
Thank you
and,
very much.
With all the things that you do, like you said, you need more time in the
Right,
day.
yeah.
So just check it out though. That's going to be fun on March 3rd down
Yeah.
in Royal Oak, 5th Avenue.
Fifth Avenue in downtown Royal Oak. Yeah.
I'm trying to place that where it's at, but
It's on Fifth Avenue between Main Street and Washington.
Washington. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
So-
thinking the other way. No wonder. Okay.
Right.
All right.
So
So
they
yeah.
go to the SteveTaylor3.com if they want to get
all the
tickets.
information.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you very
and
much.
thank you for coming in and playing and entertaining us today
Sure.
for another edition of Behind the Mic. And we'll do it again another Monday coming up. So thanks for tuning in as always. I appreciate that. I'm Pam Rossi. Have a great week.